years since the signing of the deal in 2015, up until President Trump's unilateral withdrawal, abandoning our allies against the advice of his advisors, there were no proxy attacks by Iranian proxies on U.S. personnel in Iraq. There were no efforts by Iran to attack our drones in the Persian Gulf or attack shipping. The nuclear program was under control. There were strict verification and inspections.
Former National Security Advisor and Ambassador Susan Rice defending the Iran nuclear deal. But Fox News reporting from the end of the Obama era casts some doubts on some of the claims that she's making today. Here's what we found back then. Listen.
It's been reported that President Obama suggested numerous times that by doing this deal that Iran would eventually moderate its non-nuclear behavior. Do you think that's happened?
Just the opposite. Every single action the Iranians have taken has been bolder and starker than the ones they took before the agreement.
Has the support for Hezbollah or Hamas dropped off at all?
Not at all.
Modified?
None. If anything, greater.
Support for Bashar al-Assad changed?
None.
Military alliance with Putin's Russia been moderated?
Stronger.
Leon Panetta, President Obama's Secretary of Defense from 2011 to 2013, largely supports the president's Iran nuclear deal, but says the president's policy lacks one crucial ingredient.
What is missing is that larger strategy of containing Iran and making very clear that even though we've negotiated this agreement, we are not going to allow Iran to be able to exert their influence in that region. You have to deal with them from a position of strength, not from a position of weakness.
All right, so did former President Obama's legacy Iran nuclear deal change the rogue regime's behavior for the better or worse? Well, let's bring in Texas Republican Congressman Dan Crenshaw, who sits on the Homeland Security Committee, and he's also a former Navy SEAL himself. Congressman, always good to have you back.
Great to be with you, Shannon.
Okay, so we've seen over the last 24 hours and really beyond that a full rollout of former Obama administration officials who were a part of putting together this nuclear deal. In many of the cases say we got to this point because this president pulled out of it. Your response?
Yeah, well, they're obsessed with defending their strategy of appeasement, right? They thought that the best way to deal with Iran was to pay them off, send over pallets full of cash, unfreeze their assets, lift sanctions, and then hope for change, right? Remember, President Obama's theme was hope and change, and that was their foreign policy as well. It didn't work, and it's time to accept that, because what actually happened was the Iranians were enriched and therefore able to fund their Quds force more and destabilize the region, destabilize Syria, Yemen, fund sleeper cells in Bahrain, fund Shia militias in Iraq. You played a clip of Susan Rice saying that there was no attack from proxies on American forces. Is she forgetting about the over 600 deaths of American soldiers that were a result of Iranian-made IEDs? I mean, to say that this all started after Trump, and this is another misconception that the Democrats like to peddle, which is that history began with Donald Trump. History began with the killing of Soleimani. It did not begin with the killing of Soleimani. It began long before that, since 1979, actually. Since right as the Iran deal was being signed, they were humiliating our U.S. Navy sailors and boarding U.S. Navy vessels in the Gulf. Okay, and since then they've bombed oil tankers, bombed Saudi oil facilities, bombed our bases, and then attacked our embassy, and of course killed an American citizen. To say that they weren't the ones escalating out of desperation is to deny facts.
Okay, so just to be clear, she was talking about in the years since the signing of the deal up until the president withdrew. She was saying that was a good time. Okay, well, a more peaceful time with Iran. Her statement. Okay, so Ben Rhodes, who was also part of that, said there were no rocket attacks. He gets specific against U.S. interests in Iraq during the Iran deal. Those attacks resumed after Trump pulled out of the Iran deal and escalated sanctions, which was an entirely predictable consequence. So he's talking about specifically what we saw over the last 24 hours. He said we should have known, and you've heard many people say the maximum pressure campaign is backfiring on this president. How do you respond to them?
Well, it's just not true. And I'm not going to listen to somebody like Ben Rhodes, who effectively admitted to lying to the American people and creating an echo chamber in the media to get their Iran deal through. The reality is that the JCPOA, the Iran deal, left us weaker. It left us with a situation where in 10 to 15 years, we'd have to find a way to renegotiate that deal against a much wealthier and more powerful Iran, and we would have zero leverage. You played a clip of Leon Panetto. He said something very important, which was that we have to negotiate from a position of strength, not weakness. Against the Obama administration, the Iranians knew that there were no red lines. Okay, there was no actual deterrence against the Obama administration. They knew that. The Iranians were negotiating from a position of strength for a couple of reasons. One, they're more patient, while the Obama administration needed that foreign policy win, and they were willing to give away way too much to get it. And once they got it, there was no containment strategy. There was no talk about the malign influence throughout the region. There was no talk about the ballistic missile program. You can't separate those things. Did they delay nuclear weapons? Yes, possibly. Although recent intelligence, especially from our Israeli partners, indicates that the Iranians were planning on cheating on that. But in any case, we were going to be left with a position in 10 to 15 years where we had no more leverage, and that's a very difficult position to be in. And at some point, we had to disrupt the escalation that the Iranians were engaging in and gain back that leverage, because they had no path towards normalizing and joining the global order at all.
Well, we know the president has now called on NATO to get involved. He's called on our European allies and others who were party to this deal to walk away from it, as well as Iran's already signaled they consider themselves to be out of it as well. We will watch and wait as they are promising more retribution, and having served there on the front lines, Congressman, you know what that means to our men and women. So our thoughts and prayers for protection and wisdom over all of them tonight. And thank you for your service on multiple fronts.
Thank you, Shannon.